I'm Brian Bartoldus, the artistic director of the Handel Choir of Baltimore, and I'm very honored to have Noah Horn here to talk about our upcoming concert, Heav'nly Harmony. He'll be playing organ for the event. Just to talk a little bit about Noah and introduce him to you all, he is a man of many talents. He's an organist, conductor, singer, and composer. He directs the vocal ensemble Divi, who has sung for the Detroit Symphony Orchestra. He served as faculty at Wayne State, Western Michigan, currently at Amherst, Wesleyan, Hampshire. Wonderful to have you playing for us here again.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be great to work with you again.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the program. So, Heav'nly Harmony, the Bennett piece, The Glory and the Dream. It's really not an easy lift for the organist.
Yeah, that's right. There aren't many moments when you get to relax. This is a very rare piece. I'm only aware of a handful of performances of it in the U.S., and I think this would be a special opportunity for folks to come hear this piece.
Richard Rodney Bennett was not an organist, but a piano player, and with that, and a lot of pianists, when they approach the organ and they approach writing for the organ, you get a lot of fancy finger work, not as much work on the pedals, and the Bennett really seems to be in that mold. Tell me about the writing for this instrument in this particular piece.
Yeah, you got a lot of very fast passages. It's quite difficult to play. It would be nice to get a camera on the organist hands. Very rarely done, but you see all this whipping by of the music, just all this very fast stuff, and I think it creates a very exciting effect. It's a really cool piece. From the very first moment of the piece, I strongly recommend kind of capturing that in your mind, because it comes back at crucial moments later in the piece, and you think, I've heard that before. What does that signify? And it's a little bit of a puzzle for the audience to figure out. You realize that you're traversing ground that you've been on before, but with a different take.
Let's talk about another piece that really shows off the organ and the colors and the registrations of the organ in a wonderful light, and that's Britten's Rejoice in the Lamb. What draws you to the Britten as a listener, as a singer, as a conductor, as an organist?
Well, this is a magical piece, if I dare say so. The first thing and the primary thing is that the text, the words that the singers are singing, so interesting, by the fellow Christopher Smart. There's all kinds of really interesting twists and turns. He talks about his cat a lot. He thinks about the letters of the alphabet. The singers sing about those. And I think it's very interesting. In the part about his cat, the organist is to play registration that vaguely evokes a cat. And then the next bit is about a mouse. Is a creature of great personal valor.
Yes, indeed. And you get to see some of the smallest flutes on the instrument at that point, just dancing about incredibly fast, to kind of, and in trumpet fanfare figures.
That's
but
right. Yeah.
Very small flutes. Let's talk about another piece, and that's Perry's Blessed Pair of Sirens. It was originally written for chorus and orchestra. Vaughan Williams himself called it the best piece that he had ever heard written by an Englishman. How do you approach an orchestral reduction to the organ differently from, say, the Bennett or the Britten, where you're actually playing a piece composed for that instrument? What's different?
Yeah, so that involves a lot of creative activity. Basically, you receive the score, and you have all these parts, the strings and the winds, and the keyboard score just says, play whatever you can of this, whatever you think is going to be good. So in a way, you have to think to yourself, is this particular line important? I guess I'll play it right now. And I've spent a lot of time in my life playing full orchestral scores. This particular piece, I'll use the keyboard reduction, but you try to recreate it.
Is there any moment of the Perry that just absolutely knocks your socks off?
Well, it's a piece in which I get to open up the organ a lot, and that's just going to be very fun. I mean, there are parts that you just say, okay, this is the part where we bring the full symphony orchestra to bear. One
of the moments that I absolutely love about the Perry, and if you're familiar with Perry, probably the first piece that comes to mind, or one of the first, is I Was Glad
Absolutely.
We hear at a lot of coronations, or I think probably all the coronations since it was written. And the chord change that happens on the word glad when the chorus first comes in.
Yeah.
It's so memorable, and it's to use a technical term for it, it's chromatic medians. And there is a moment towards the end of the Peri, towards the end of Blessed Pair of Sirens, where he's just revving this engine right on the 5 chord, and all the chorus is just growing bigger and louder and louder, and you expect this final resolution. And right when you're about to get to it, at the loudest point thus far,
Yep.
shifts to that same chromatic median motion. And it's, yeah, it might seem like a trick the way I'm describing it, but it's only a trick because it works. Well, Noah, it has been an absolute joy talking with you today. It's going to be an absolute joy having you perform this program, Heav'nly Harmony, on March 10th at 4 p.m. at Church of the Redeemer in Baltimore. And for all those out there watching, we hope we see you there. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian. Hope to see everybody there.